Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da. Tuesday morning. Free agency is in full swing. Here we are at World of Matchups, bringing the heat as always. Tuesday, March 11th, and we are just getting warm. We have another whole week of this. Cap compliance starts tomorrow. My name is Dexter Reed, bringing the heat as always. On the other side of the glass, my A1 from day one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Spencer the Wiz. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. The NFL never stops, truly. It's crazy.
My wife
I don't
just
know. I don't
asked
know
me.
why. Like I knew free agency was starting, but I don't know why, but it just seems so explosive. Like it's like
Yeah.
all these deals just came flying in. There was no patience involved. I don't know. I guess I'd have to look back at previous years, but I don't remember it being like there were like 7 deals announced in like the first hour, I think, or something like that. It was crazy.
Part of it is the inception of the internet and so
Yeah.
much information, the information superhighway, being able to just transfer information back and forth. You know what I mean? That's part of it. So guys are looking at what other guys got, and then within like half an hour, bettering deals, matching deals. I tell people what's happening right now is just as important as what happens on the field on Sundays, if not more important. My wife just asked me, "Isn't the season over?" And I'm like, "The season's never over, truly." You know what I mean? The
This is where the
NFL.
GMs make their checks, man.
This is where GMs get paid. This is where scouts get paid. This is where the war room is active. I really truly believe like the true winners, the true franchises, the winning franchises, the winning head coaches, they're really only off for maybe 3 weeks a year. Maybe. The rest of the time, it's football. It's nonstop. I mean, it takes a certain kind of person to do it. It takes a certain kind of family to deal with it. It's not for the faint of heart. I mean, I know these guys are making millions and millions and millions of dollars, but believe me when I tell you, like, huge sacrifices come with being a winner in this league. That being said, let's go down your list of what happened yesterday. I mean, because it was just a whirlwind. I was on my phone every 2 seconds. Let's set it off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much going to go by contract size. It seems probably the best way to do it. I mean, the theme of yesterday obviously was the big paydays for the overperforming Eagles players. I mean, the Patriots were the biggest spenders yesterday. They essentially went all in. At least my impression on that. But I don't know if this is a way that you want to go all in. And I know they have the cap space for it too, so it's like good for them for trying to like brute force their way into improving their team. And you have Mike Vrabel, and he wants to bring in certain guys, but a lot of these contracts were quite a reach. Now, obviously Milton Williams is a 26-year-old, so you feel pretty confident about that. But
That's a
so
good
hard
that's a
to.
good move for them.
You just have to really hope that these guys didn't just thrive playing next to like superhumans.
Yeah. And
I
now
don't want
they're
to,
on their
it's
own.
like, first of all, for every single one of these players, even if they were quote unquote unpaid, like good for them, by the way, that they performed enough to get a mega contract. But there's just going to be a lot of pressure, especially in the Patriots organization, for these guys to really essentially ascend to superstar status, especially Milton Williams. You're paying the guy over $25 million a year, and it's going to count against your cap space. Like, you're going to need this guy to like seriously become one of your best defensive players.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not expecting the guy to be Aaron Donald, but he's supposed to produce at that money. I think he was kind of a reach. I mean, the Eagles defense is so stacked. It's like a Wolverine. It's like the Avengers. You're literally like there's a superhero next to you on every level, and now they've pulled him off and put him on a bad team. They're gonna expect a lot out of him. That's a good signing. It's just a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's a
Oh,
ton
it's a
of money.
lot.
It's a lot of money, and when that hits your cap, man, I mean, you're looking at $26 million. That's tons of. I mean, that's a lot. But Mike Vrabel is that guy. Mike Vrabel does not want to see his defense pushed all over the field in Foxborough anymore. He's a defensive player. And so they're going to address the defense. Defense wins championships. You got to remember recency bias, man. What people just watched on the field in the Super Bowl is what they remember. People are prisoners of the moment. And they saw the Eagles take apart an offense that was filled with generational talents. I mean, a team like Kansas City Chiefs, not being able to get across the midfield for 9 straight drives. That's what people remember. And so they're like, well, we want to emulate that. So when it's our turn, we can do that. And so I don't believe in reaches, but this definitely was an overpay of monumental proportions.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that as a bit of a common theme, I suppose, for them.
Throughout all the free agents. Yeah, I agree.
We'll have to see.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other ones. Well, I mean, there's tons of huge ones that went down, so it's hard to say. But Sam Darnold obviously was probably one of the biggest headlines. You dish away, Geno Smith, and then you get younger, I guess, and theoretically more talented with Sam Darnold. And I know, Sam Darnold definitely had a pretty awful end to the season the last 2 weeks.
Nobody had a worse end.
Yeah. But I also don't think that should completely discredit him. You know what I mean? So that's kind of tough, honestly. I just don't know if this is what the Seahawks should have done to gut their team and then bring in Sam Darnold. I wouldn't say they necessarily overpaid him. I mean, yeah, for a starting quarterback, and $33 million, that's about the price. So I mean, I think they negotiated a good deal on his behalf, and obviously, Sam Darnold really made something of his career at this point. Sam Darnold already won, by the way.
He already won.
A guy who looked like an early round
out of the league. Yeah.
That would never play again. Like a Josh Rosen type of player, where he's done. That's it. He's just another one of those guys on the list of busted players. And now he got a big payday. I mean, you're over $100 million. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
my thing is, if you're going to gut that team, you should have just let Sam Howell be the starting quarterback and just completely rebuild. I think Sam Darnold is a waste of money at this point. I mean, your Metcalf is gone. I mean, you don't really have much. Lockett's released. Just start over, man. I don't know. I could think of a bunch of other ways to spend $100 million. And I like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got a raw deal from the Jets, so this is a good thing to see his resurgence, a la Baker Mayfield, you know what I mean, style. Good for him, you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, period, and I'm not a fan of this move at all, especially not the price tag.
It doesn't seem like the Seattle Seahawks are going in a direction now, It's like I could even accept a full-on rebuild if you're the Seattle Seahawks.
That's what I
dish away Geno Smith, so you don't, give him a big contract. You dish away DK Metcalf, you get a pretty good, you get a second-round pick for him. It's pretty good.
I'm shocked.
And then you go with Sam Howell. You lose a bunch of games this year. See what you get.
Build it
now
up.
It's like
build it up.
When you have Sam Darnold, there's a pressure to win a lot of games.
Expectation to win now.
Because this guy just took a Minnesota Vikings team to the playoffs, on an incredible season for them. So,
yeah.
I mean, and they got rid of Tyler Lockett. So, I mean, I know they have Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's their big focus, but they're going to have to go pretty hard after a wide receiver now. I mean, they completely gutted that room for guys that were currently productive and could have stayed productive.
Yep.
So, that's what I'm saying. The philosophy is strange. You're going to gut your wide receiver room and then bring in a quarterback who's supposedly supposed to have a big season. It's
doesn't
I
make
don't
any
know.
sense.
It's just kind of bizarre in my opinion. I don't know why this was their prized possession of the offseason.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to get rid of DK Metcalf, just keep Geno Smith. Just ride out the contract. They must really hate him.
It's not like a guy like Geno Smith is going to hold out or something. You know what I mean?
Sucks. Yeah, he's happy to still even be in the league as a starter.
Yeah. So a couple of offensive linemen. Obviously, the Titans are starting to beef up their offensive line, which makes sense because they're not going to be drafting a guy like Will Campbell, first overall. So
Dan Moore sucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these offensive linemen, I heard Aaron Banks is okay. And there's a center that the Bears picked up that I heard was pretty good. But otherwise, this wasn't a prized possession free agent.
These guys are all overpaid. You gave Dan Moore $82 million. The guy gave up 12 sacks last year. The guy is absolutely horrendous. Kansas City was in the running, the talks to get this guy. Dude, if they would have signed this guy yesterday, I would have just burned my colors. Dude, that guy is horrendous. And you give him
whatever Dan Moore's agent gets isn't big enough. And
it's not enough, man.
He's a bigger cut.
That's like Sam Bradford-esque. That's Kirk Cousins' offensive tackle style. I mean, horrendous. I'm sorry. I'm not going to waste any time talking about Damore. That guy stinks. Aaron Banks is okay, but still, 77 million for okay? It's like if you have a kid nowadays, man, just feed him peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and put him in football because he could just be
Yeah.
big, unathletic, and just stop guys, and he'll get $50 million contract. It's insanity. Both those moves did nothing for me. I like the Josh Sweat move, 4 years, 76. I like that, and I like it a lot. That is a good move for Arizona. They need beef. They need help. Age 28, perfect move. And it hurts the Eagles. Win, win, win.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another one of those guys. I mean, I guess that's not really necessarily fair to say for Josh Sweat, but like, to benefit from the Eagles' defensive system. But I wouldn't say they overpaid for him necessarily. I think Josh Sweat played with someone on the Cardinals staff, so I'm sure that was a big reason why he decided to go over there. I mean, the Cardinals need a lot of help. Let's be honest. I mean,
They
they're
need
a
a
team
lot of
that needs
help.
a lot of talent. They have been like so lacking on the defensive side of the ball for so long, and the secondary on the defensive line. I mean, it was like Chandler Jones for them for a while, and then after that, it's just been kind of failure after failure in a way. So I think that this is probably like one of the better signings of free agency so far,
That was
where you
fun.
kind of get him at the right price tag, you bring him into a good
Mhm.
situation, for him. So that was definitely good.
We got the right amount of guys on the team, older and younger. Still believe enough in Kyler Murray. MHJ is now there. He's going to take another step. They'll probably, let Trey Benson get a little bit more run. I mean, I've always liked the Cardinals, especially for handicapping purposes. These guys backdoor everyone. I think they're on a move with this signing of Josh Sweat. I really like it a lot. I like Byron Murphy a lot at that price tag too, man. Like you got to have corners. You build a team from the inside out, but like this is a passing league, man. You got to have guys that can get PBUs. So I like that. 3 years, 66. He's only 27. That's like the age. That's like the cutoff age. 28. That's it. You know what I mean? If you don't have a 3 year or 4 year deal at that, you can't sign the guy. So I like Murphy a lot. That's a good signing too. What do you think about him?
It was okay. I mean, I think it was a little bit of an
It's a lot of
overpay.
money.
Yeah, I think it was one of the situations where
They
he
had
could
no
have
one
gotten.
else.
It was just like a hometown kind of
Hmm.
premium, I suppose. Like, if you guys want me to stay, I know not this isn't necessarily what my contract is worth, but this is what it's going to cost for me to
It's what it
stay with them.
costs.
And yeah, I mean, the Vikings, they got to decide what they want to do soon. I mean, I don't. I guess they're just going to roll out with JJ McCarthy now.
I think so.
So you can overpay some guys during that time
Hmm.
period. I mean, that's the benefit of having a rookie
Well,
contract.
here's the deal, man. You got a great D coordinator in Flores, and they showed a lot of promise, man. I mean, both you and I picked this team to win 6 games. You know
I
what I
know.
mean? They over. I mean, we lost our shirts on the Vikings. And so they have a good HC, a good OC, and a good DC. They're not a bad team. Okay, so Sam Darnold walks, but you got JJ McCarthy for that. And there's going to be growing pains with him. However, defense wins champion again, Spencer, man. I'm telling you, you're going to see so many amazing defensive players picked within the first 30 picks because these teams aren't screwing around. They're like, man, we got to get our defense together. I mean, it is everything. If you cannot stop somebody, you can't win a Super Bowl. You can't. You have to be able to take teams apart. The chess match between the DC and the OC, that's the NFL right now. The play calling, yeah, okay, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is can you keep that guy out the box? It's like tug of war. You know what I mean? That's what the NFL has turned into. But at the same time, the flash is kind of still there because it's a passing league and it's an offensive league. But don't be fooled. Defense wins championships, and
Yeah,
it
we just saw
always
a
will.
run-heavy defensive team win the Super Bowl like handily.
Easily. Easily. The Chiefs were never in the game. I conceded the game as a Chief fan after the first drive of halftime. I was like, if the Chiefs don't come out and get 7 right now, the game is over. And the game was over. at halftime. You see what I mean? So teams are going to want to emulate that. They're going to want to do that and getting corners, getting DTs, getting LBs. It's right there. It's right there for the taking. Who else we got?
Cameron Bynum. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really move the needle
Doesn't
for me,
move
to
the
be
needle
honest.
for me. Carlton Davis
And
is a scrub, dude.
another overpay by the
This
Patriots.
is
I'm
an
telling you.
absolute
I think they
dude.
had a bad day. It's so funny to me. Like, I think the biggest theme of yesterday was like how much people are prisoners of the moment of
That's what
like
I'm saying.
the draft. It's like I'm telling you, because we've done the draft so many years now. Like, there's going to be a 6th-round draft pick guy that a team wants, and their team doesn't get him, and suddenly like the world is on fire. It's
The
like,
world's
dude,
on fire.
you'll probably never hear about this guy again for the rest of his career. So it's
Carlton
like people
Davis,
think
man.
that winning day one of free agency means that you've won the offseason. It's like,
Nope.
first of all, sometimes not paying is
Not
like
paying
the
is a
ultimate.
win.
Like, for the Raiders' perspective, and I don't know if I put any of these deals, but I'll
Raiders
talk about
lost a
them later.
lot, but I still think they're winning.
All of those guys were big overpays, so it's like,
Mhm.
in a way, they've won.
They've won.
Because
You're not
here's
spending
the
money
thing.
on scrubs.
Like, especially for the Patriots, they're going to run into this problem. Like, I can guarantee it at this point. It's like you're going to be in a situation where you're going to win more games and you're going to need to make one more final big push to get something. And then suddenly you're going to go to the bank and there's nothing there.
There's
And you're
no
not going to be
money.
able to pay for that guy. You're not going to have any flexibility because
Yeah.
guys like Carlton Davis are getting 3 years, 60. And you're just, they also signed Robert Spillane to an inflated contract. And again, I know that they have a rookie quarterback, but they're going to be running into some major issues here coming up. And I don't know how significantly better. Like, do we now say, oh, because the Patriots got these guys, I like them for the playoffs? They still don't have any wide receivers. Like, still to this day, they
Let's
don't.
put this into perspective, okay? This just came over the World of Matchups wire via Sleeper. Okay, this really shows you guys how much of an overpay some of these guys are. The Chiefs just signed Christian Fulton, 2 years, $20 million. Christian Fulton's better than Carlton Davis by a lot.
Oh, I like Christian Fulton. I liked him out of college.
By a lot. Carlton Davis was not good since he played with Tom Brady in Tampa. He did nothing with the Lions, and now he got 3 years, $60 million. So you mean to tell me that the Chiefs got a guy for 2 years and $40 million less?
Yeah.
This is how some GMs are playing chess when other GMs are playing checkers.
Well, these biggest contracts that you're looking at here are all filled out. I mean, other than the Vikings, are all filled out by like sub 500 teams.
Desperation does not necessarily mean open your purse and spend. Desperation sometimes means patience. Just means patience. I mean, that's a good sign, dude. That's a good signing for the Chiefs, man. You got McDuffie on one side and Fulton on the other now. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, dude. For $20 million, you see what I mean? No, I mean, and the Chiefs have no money. Dude, Brett Veach is so far over the cap, and he's spending like he's hundreds of $1 million under the cap. They're going to have to restructure Jones, Kelsey, and Mahomes today to get under the cap by the 12th. And they're still going, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, for instance, my wife and I, we like to shop at Ross. There's nothing wrong with Ross. Ross is decent. But sometimes when I go to Ross, I find Polo and Gucci a lot. And I find it super cheap. Like $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80 cheaper than I would pay at the price at the retail store. Why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you do that? But to overspend on a guy like Carlton Davis, even Cameron Bynum, doesn't move the needle for me, man. 4 years, $60 million? What has Cameron Bynum ever done? At the safety position to make $20 million. Does anyone even know who that guy is?
Pretty good draft coming up for safety position.
For safeties, too. Crazy, right? Who's next?
Take a look at this next one. Another Colts were big spenders, too, at the defensive position.
I like Ward, but
yeah.
Ward's head screwed up, man, because his kid died. He wanted out of San Francisco. It was just not a good situation at the end there. And he politicked his way into $20 million a year. My question is, at age 30, will his head be screwed on okay? I mean, like, to lose a child, I mean, he lost an infant. You know what I mean? Like, that could end some people's careers. So I'm a little concerned about him, but it's not a bad signing if he's all the way back and healing and in therapy. You know what I mean? Deebo, I don't like anything the Giants have done.
I don't think that this is necessarily what the Giants should have focused in on.
I don't like what the Giants have done.
They're gonna get Aaron Rodgers, man, and it's gonna be a
God,
it's
please.
just gonna be like a headlining disastrous season for the
I
Giants.
want Aaron Rodgers to go to Pittsburgh so I can just laugh at the disaster that Coach Tomlin's going to have to deal with between him, Metcalf, and Pickens. It's going to make you want to kill yourself. But that's neither here nor there. You know who I like? I like what the Carolina Panthers have done. Now, they have overpaid for all these guys. Turk Wharton, Melrig, they've overpaid for all these guys. But, dude, they are trying. And I will never knock a franchise.
Yeah, I feel like during every
trying.
offseason,
J.C. Horn was worth the money. They're relevant again. They are relevant again. Bryce Young had a very nice end to his season. You know what I mean? They got nice young receivers. You can hold on to, the elder statesman wide receiver they have for another year. Jatavion Sanders, Coker. They're going to be okay. Now they're building that defense. I mean, Melrig it's. I think it's kind of a big loss for the Raiders, but I understand why the Raiders ain't paying that guy. You know,
they made a pretty good pickup from the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, they got Jeremy Chin. I like that, and they
not
got
as good as Melrig, but like
cheaper,
like a slightly lower lateral move for like a quarter of the price.
Cheaper.
I
said,
think they made the right decision here.
Sometimes you got to shop at the clearance rack, man. They just paid. They just paid their best player, Max Crosby. I mean, again, like when you look at these teams that are winning like crazy, 5 players are taking up most of their cap,
especially at the safety position. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
You can live with it.
There's no value, but
you can live with it.
You can make a lateral move at the safety position and be like, okay, I'm fine.
To me, corner's more important. Corner's more important to safety. I mean, I get like Ed Reed and Eric Berry's of the world. These guys were generational talents.
And look how quick they moved on from Eric Berry all those years
ago.
The Chiefs couldn't like an all-pro.
The Chiefs couldn't wait to get rid of Eric Berry because literally, after he came back from cancer, he was never the same player. I mean, 5 years, $55 million was like the asking price. And honestly, moving on from him and getting Justin Reed was one of the best decisions that they ever made. And now they're going to move on from Justin Reed, and they're going to let the rookie do what he needs to do. Dude, these pieces are interchangeable. You're not supposed to hold on to these players for more than like 2 or 3 seasons. They age and decline quickly, really fast at any and every position.
That's why you have to just draft well. And I think that's what the Chiefs have done. The Eagles are the best example, obviously, where you just like keep your head down in a way. Like, I don't know how to describe it. And you just keep drafting good players. And then suddenly you're going to open your eyes and you're going to have a killer roster.
I don't know, man. I love Howie Roseman, but I think a lot of their stud players are the product of idiot GMs letting stuff fall into their hands.
But they do it. They make the picks. And so if they follow them,
I can't hate it. You know what I mean? Like, look, if you're going to let it come to me, I'm going to take it. If you're going to throw me a fastball when the bases are loaded and the count is 3-2 and I'm a fastball hitter, I'm going to hit it. And so don't get me wrong. I'm not hating, it's just how good of a GM do you have to be to just say, wow, Jalen Carter's here? You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Like, Cooper DeJean is still here day 2. What am I dealing with? Like, and so they have really built a good team to the point where they're losing a lot, and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, Chase Young is a bum. I'm not going to waste any time talking about him.
The Saints are so poorly run. It's almost shocking, to be honest.
The Saints and the Bengals literally could both go to the XFL, and no one would miss them. They're
fighting against the cap, and the Saints re-signed Chase Young to a 3-year, $51 million contract.
Chase Young.
When are they going to gut their team?
When was Chase Young good? This is a question that I would like to ask because he's been passed around like a blunt. When was somebody come in here and tell me when Chase Young was good? I'll wait for that answer. I do like what they're doing in Chicago. I do. I like everything they're doing in Chicago,
Oh, they made
honestly.
some pretty intense. Yeah, they made a lot of moves, man.
Chicago realized that they're failing their quarterback and they're fixing their line. Getting Thuney was great. They signed a great center who's literally only second to Creed Humphrey. I like I like everything Chicago is doing. Everything. I like Nate Hobbs. I like Nate Hobbs going
He
to.
got way overpaid, man.
Of course, he
There's
got overpaid, but here's the deal with Nate Hobbs. The cornerback that they had there, what's his name? The guy's a head case, and he was always
Jair Alexander.
yeah,
He might go to
Jair.
the Raiders.
Jair Alexander. Well,
They might
that'd be the
swap,
that'd be the
basically.
perfect place for him to go because he's a head case, and that's what the Raiders do. But Jair Alexander was never on the field. Okay, so the best ability is availability. I can guarantee you, Jair Alexander was making more than Nate Hobbs, so it's a win. Yes, okay.
Hobbs had some injury problems to himself, man. He's not a
Yeah,
perfect little.
he Nate Hobbs is an average quarterback. He's an average quarterback. Average. That's what they need in Green Bay. They just need average cornerback. It's better than having a great cornerback that's never on the field. I mean, let's not act like they didn't play 3/4 of the season without Jair Alexander on the field. They're okay. And they made it to what? The divisional round? The problem with the Packers is they're just not good enough to win enough games to get those games in their building in the playoffs. Because if they do, you're going to now have to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin in January. And let me tell you something. I've been there before. It is not a fun place to play.
Yeah.
It is not, man. The best teams go there and get beat. We see the Cowboys go there and get beat. They beat the Chiefs there. They win these games at home. Their home field is real because they got nothing else but cheese, beer, and football. So they're going to bring their A game. They need to get better. I don't hate Nate Hobbs there at all. I like DJ Reed too. I like DJ Reed. I like that a lot. I mean, he's a
I
good
don't know.
player.
I feel like the
It's a
Lions
lot of
are
money.
like trying to force this kind of plug and play a lot for their teams. I mean, I know there's a lot of turnover in all football programs, but there just seems to be an inflated sense of that for the Lions. Where like, okay, this year it's going to be, I guess that, getting this guy for a 3-year deal is definitely good. And he is like, in my opinion, was the prized possession from the
He's
cornerback
good.
position.
Yeah,
Like I would
he's
have,
really
I'd
good.
rather have him than Byron Murphy personally.
Yeah,
So,
to me, out of all these guys that we've mentioned, I would take DJ Reed number one out of all of them. And so, yeah, it's 3 years and it's 48 mil, but like you got to have somebody on the other side of Terrion Arnold, bro. You see,
yeah, you can't
while
leave Terry on Arnold by himself.
you can't leave Terry, he commits way too many penalties. He holds
Yeah.
way too much, and again, while teams are trying to stop other teams in the trenches, you cannot forget about the wings. And what team? I mean, you've just seen Kansas City now do it. You have to try to create a no-fly zone. You cannot just have one guy out there by himself. You can't have just Trent McDuffie running around try to guard everybody. I mean, there's only one Deion Sanders who was able to do that. There's only one Darrell Revis. I mean, 2, maybe 3 guys like that in NFL history, maybe, who can just take away half the field. It doesn't happen in today's NFL. It doesn't happen, and so you have to have another guy out there. And DJ Reed on one side and Terrion Arnold on the other side, man. You could do a lot worse than that. You could do a lot worse than that, Spencer. I don't hate it at all. I
think
like
they
it.
made a good move. I think it was solid.
It's a solid move. I mean, Detroit knows what happened this year in their building in the playoffs. That can never happen again. It just can never happen again. And if it means we have to overpay so it never happens again, then that's what it means. I'd rather pay knowing that it gives me a really good shot to bring home a chip than be cheap and then be wishing I opened my checkbook because I had a couple shekels left over. Spend.
Yeah, I mean, there's a window for the Lions. I don't.
It's closing. If they don't get it in the next 3 years, it's done. Because Hendon Hooker ain't the answer. He never sees the field. And Goff ain't going to be young forever, man.
He'll be declining, yeah.
And Goff's a statue. So what does Goff offer you besides football acumen and his arm? He's got no wheels. I mean, they have great players around him. And so it masks his deficiencies when you have Jahmyr Gibbs. But running backs don't last forever either. I'm on Rod. These guys don't last. Guys, you got a 5-year window with these young kids. If you don't, I mean, and to me, they've already wasted 2 of them. Kick a couple field goals in San Francisco, you go to the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs. That doesn't happen. Last year, injuries ravaged the defense. Okay, it's a walk year, but it's still another year. What's going to be the excuse this year? Like, literally, like, Detroit has to win one of these games. Detroit has to go to a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, or they have wasted Dan Campbell and they have wasted the Goff trade. Matt Stafford won his Super Bowl. So right now, the Rams have won that trade, as far as I'm concerned. Next.
Plenty of other signings here. Try to go down the list best I can.
None of these
guards
guys.
again.
None of these guys matter.
Josh Palmer. I mean, Greenlaw was a pretty big pickup for the Broncos. The Broncos made a couple. They poached a couple guys from the 49ers.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Greenlaw.
Health is their big concern.
Yeah. After that just brutal injury in the Super Bowl, he's never been the same. Darius Slayton, to me, is a joke. They offered Darius Slayton more money than they offered Saquon. I'm not talking about anything. I'm not talking anything New York Giants. So if you're a big Blue fan, just don't watch World of Matchups.
Darius Slayton has not been that nice since in 2 years.
Since never. Okay? Since never. Grady Jarrett is old, but I'm still feeling it because at least Chicago is trying. Chicago, to me, falls in that Carolina, group where, like, dude, what do you want us to do? We're trying, and I'm all about that. You know what I mean? You've been bad for so long. Dude, you got to try, and if it doesn't work out, so be it, but at least you tried. Spillane, I like Spillane, but not at the price tag.
No, they went nuts for that. The Raiders are obviously very smart for not matching a 3.
And Robert Spillane's 30 years old, man. You give him a 3-year deal, ain't no middle linebacker playing NFL football at 33. Well,
kind of like a run specialist middle linebacker. I don't know, man. That's
crazy.
A Mike Rabel signing, but it's just like kind of insane what they gave up there. And then like I said,
Jalen Moore. I don't know about what Jalen Moore will be. I mean, they paid him starter money, and he's a backup. But, I mean, the bottom line is you cannot have Patrick Mahomes running for his life in multiple Super Bowls. Like, literally, we cannot see this ever happen again. You just cannot see it happen again. The guy is too good of a player. He's the face of the league to not be protected. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Protect this guy. And so Brett Veach and company see something that maybe I don't. I don't know enough about Moore to really pontificate about it. But they're basically what the Chiefs are doing is we are spending with no money. We're spending with no money, and we're going to go to the bank of Mahomes, and we're going to go to the bank of Jones here. And so Moore is like the clearance rack. The potential is there. You know what I mean? Again, it's like, wow, I just found this polo shirt on the clearance rack, which that happened to me a couple months ago. I found all this stuff. I'm like, this stuff is so expensive. How is this stuff $10? And I bought all of it. I think that's what he kind of could be for the Kansas City, but it's more of a pull and pray. Hufanga, health, man.
I know.
If
Greenlaw and him go down, I mean,
health.
The Broncos are going to be in huge trouble because they gave these guys a lot of money. So
$100 million between the two of them.
Healthy when they haven't been in the last 2 years, both of them. So
Kinlaw, I love Javon Kinlaw. Great move. Let me tell you something. The Washington Commanders are trying to go to the Super Bowl. Out of them, the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears right now are winning free agency. Love it. Deshaun Wharton to Carolina at that price tag is absolutely egregious. I mean, I love Turk, and I was kind of hoping Chiefs could keep him. But go get that bag, son. You've got your ring. Get money. You've earned it. If they're going to give you $45 million, is more power to you, bro. I can't be mad. I quietly love Davante Adams to the Rams, dude. I got to be honest. I mean, he's 30. He's 32. Okay. But, like, Cooper Kupp is getting up there, too. And Cooper Kupp's always hurt. Release Cooper Kupp and bring in Adams. Adams on one side, Puka on the other side. You got great running backs. Dude, don't sleep on the Rams, man. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't snowing in Philadelphia that day on the playoffs, the Rams had a chance to win that game. They had a chance to win that game. Just keep Matt Stafford upright, and they're going to be in the playoffs again. Sean McVay is a very good HC. He's probably the second best.
He'll be in the playoffs, but I don't know, man. Devontae Adams is a head case. I mean,
he's a head case. Yeah,
he's going to stay trust me, he's going to say all the right things in his like opening press with the Rams.
Yeah. Do you
But
want to win?
if things don't go his way,
Yeah,
though,
he's
like
gonna sulk like a
he'll
little
just
baby. Of
he'll
course,
give up on you. It's
of
just
course.
that's his ultimate fault. You
All
know,
these
it's like
guys, they have Stephon Diggs disease. They're all like this. They're prima donna divas. You know, Odell, all these guys. But do you want to win? When you're that close, I mean, I've never seen a team rebuild themselves quickly as the Rams have rebuilt themselves. They never went into a rebuild. They never really did. They won the Super Bowl, kind of hung around 500 for a while, and then they just came right back, and they're in the playoffs again. You lose Aaron Donald, and to be that good still overnight is, dude, kudos to your war room, your scouts, your GM. I mean, great job, dude. I like Devontae Adams to the Rams. I can't front. I can't, dude. Matthew Stafford's a live arm, dude. Give Puka a break. The way Puka plays is he's gonna go over the middle and lose his life. You know what I mean? So at least will give you a break. Even if, I mean, it's a 2-year deal, they'll probably only get 1 year out of him. I'm fine with that. Dude, they're shooting their shot. Who else is on the list?
The ultimate funny thing that happened would be if Matthew Stafford goes down and Jimmy Garoppolo's throwing him the ball again because he hates Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
Jimmy G just got signed. Terrible.
I mean,
Harold Landry is great. Them giving him up in Tennessee is ridiculous.
I just don't know if you're the Patriots, if building your entire team through free agency is the way to like kickstart a rebuild. I just think that's kind of awkward.
Yeah, well, they're hoping that they'll also be able to, put some seeds in the ground through the draft. I don't like any of the moves they made.
You don't see this very often. Where
it doesn't really work out.
New head coach, you're like, I'm going to bring in 5 guys. I'm going to bring in 5 new starters for a rebuild because they're not making the playoffs next year. So
I like Landry though. He's one of the most underrated defenders.
And their linebacking,
he might
obviously
huge improvement, man. Huge. It's a lot of money, but you want to dance, you got to pay the band. At least they're spending. At least they're trying. I mean, I got no love for the Patriots, but again, when you have Mike Vrabel there and you have Drake May there and you've got Robert Kraft there, you're cooking with something. Now build your defense. Let's not forget they still got Christian Gonzalez. They got good players, man. This is what they're doing. They're fixing their defense through free agency, and they're going to fix their offense draft day. Give Ramondre Stevenson another couple seasons. They need wide receivers, bro. I'd feel a lot better about them if they just tag in trading and just got T. Higgins. They need a one. Or they might get that guy that you liked from
Teteroa McMillan.
All of a sudden, if that guy's a Patriot, now we got something, right? Dude,
I think they're going to draft Teteroa. So
they could. I mean, all signs are pointing at the weakest position is wide receiver. It would make sense. Dahlman is a great move for the Bears. I love Justin Fields going to the Jets. I love it.
That was a huge move.
I love it. I called that one of the few things that I did call on the last show that came to fruition. I love it. I'm telling you, man. Like, Justin Fields can play, man. He can play. Everyone tries to poo-poo on this guy's talent. He's just never in the proper coaching scheme and right position. Chicago failed him. Pittsburgh screwed him. He is now going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets, who have talent, man. They have talent everywhere. They got great runners. I think the Jets could be a sneaky team this year because their defense is decent, and their offense is now going to take take a step forward because they actually have a quarterback. That's been the Jets' biggest problem for how long? They just they don't have a field general, and it's his team now. It's his team. I love Justin Fields going to the Jets. Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like the Jets. I just think they have a stink on their franchise. I mean, this is obviously one of the best places for Justin Fields to showcase himself. And Garrett Wilson played with Justin Fields in college, so that's obviously a positive connection. I just still have my concerns about bringing in a defensive-minded head coach, and now you have a mobile quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields is very talented. There's no doubt. I mean, he really has had
he's a good player, man. He's a good player.
It's the Jets, though.
It's the
It's not the
Jets.
most
But
stable
when you have
franchise.
Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, and Justin Field, your running game is set. It's set. Now, let's say, for instance, okay, they have Garrett Wilson. Let's say, for instance, they draft Tyler Warren, right? And then bring in another wide receiver in free agency. Bro, dude, they're cooking. At that point, they're cooking. And I think Tyler Warren could go to the Jets. I think it might be the type of thing where they realize they blew it with Brock Bowers last year. They blew it. They
Oh, I can
absolutely.
easily see the Jets taking Tyler Warren.
I think that's where he's gonna go. I think that's where he's gonna go, bro. And so I'm in on what the Jets are done. I like what they're putting down, bro. I like what they're cooking up. What else we got?
The only other things, I guess, was really the trade market. So, DK Metcalf gets traded.
I was so wrong about that. I
It's
can't
just
believe
the
they got a
Steelers are
two.
so funny where they've had this issue with diva wide receivers. They bring in like the CEO of being a diva. They just obviously have a thing for talented wide receivers and the hopes that they can like tame them when they get to Pittsburgh. And him and George Pickens, man, I can't not foresee them having
I
major issues on the
want
field at some
I
point.
want Aaron Rodgers to go to Pittsburgh.
That would be
I
the
want
complete
it.
collapse of the
I
Pittsburgh
want it
Steelers.
so bad. I want it so bad. I do not want to see him in New York. I want it so bad to just see that circus it's going to be in Pittsburgh. Like literally, you're signing all these wide receivers, right? You let Najee Harris walk. He walks into free agency with the LA Chargers, right? Who's your quarterback? Who's your quarterback? Who's the quarterback in the Pittsburgh Steelers right now? You see what I mean? Like you're putting all your eggs in one.
The only rostered quarterback on their team right now is Skylar Thompson, I think.
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's
Yeah,
what I
they
mean.
really made this trade, and they quite literally do not
They
have
they have a quarterback
on the road.
who's throwing the ball. See what I mean?
They're gonna have to
This-
bring back Russell Wilson, I think.
They're gonna have to. Russell Wilson might go to the Giants though. You know what I mean? Up to date news as we speak. Miles Sanders has been released. Miles Sanders is an absolute stiff. The guy hasn't been relevant in the NFL and has held on way longer than he should have. He is now on the ropes, and the funny thing is that someone's gonna pick him up. Someone's gonna pick him up, dude. We talked about Christian Fulton. Let's see. Daniel Jones signs a 1-year deal with the Colts. And
Wow, really?
Yep. He's going to push Anthony Richardson for starter. And he makes, on that 1 year, guess how much money they're paying him?
Daniel Jones?
Guess how much money the Colts are paying him for 1 year?
15?
14 mil.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Well, that tells you they think he's going to be playing.
That tells you he's going to be a starter. That's going to be a starter. This is a big one.
They're waiting for any excuse to not play
They,
Anthony.
dude, Anthony, they will literally. They are already digging Anthony Richardson's grave. They can't stand this guy. They made a huge mistake with him, and they know it. I mean, when Daniel Jones is trying to save your franchise, that's all you need to know.
What's the question?
What's the question, right? He's the answer. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the head case. He has been traded to the Texans for a 6th-round pick in exchange for offensive guard Kenyon Green and a 5th.
Commanders are another team that has a thing for head cases now.
Yeah, well, again, man, do you want to win? Do you want to win?
Marshawn Lattimore.
The Texans are. I don't know. I don't understand why you would make that move. I mean, CJ is like he's the bully of that secondary, and they got rid of him now for a second time. So they kind of must feel like they're just tired of his antics, and bye-bye, there he goes. So he's gone to the Texans, which that's a good move for them, man. You got him, and then whatever, that guy who laid out freaking Trevor Lawrence. So now when you play those guys, you're literally looking over your shoulder every second of the day because those guys will try to kill you. What else we got out there? Some little underrated signings. Elijah Mitchell to the Chiefs. Some kind of signals that they're probably not going to bring Kareem Hunt back, or
He's probably done.
P. Ryan gets moved back to the Bengals. Jordan Mason gets tendered. Javon Holland. I mean, there's some like B, C level players. Where do you think Joey Bosa is going to go? He's an interesting one, man. I think he's
He
going to
could
go
go
to
to
the
the
Niners.
Ravens.
I could see that. I could see that. Jets get Andre Sisco, very slept on signing. He's a great safety, hard hitter. This is what I'm talking about, man. I'm telling you, man. The
Yeah, there's
Jets are
value at the safety position. Overpaying for the safety position is not the right move, in my opinion.
Jets are doing this quietly, man. I'm telling you. I know everyone is just so tired of the Jets being bad and being getting their hopes up. Dude, the Jets are going to be in good shape next year. I like what they're doing a lot. What else we got out there? Bengals ain't doing much. That's pretty much it, man. We talked about Najee Harris, Trey Greenlaw,
I like
Javante.
Najee Harris for fantasy
What do you
next
think?
year. I
Yeah,
mean,
me too. Yeah, he's going to see the ball a lot in that
a
Harborough
lot.
run
They
first.
were running the ball with Gus Edwards into the
Yeah,
ground. I mean,
and
imagine what they're going to do with Najee Harris.
yeah, and they released Gus Edwards, and I
Yeah,
don't think they're going to tender, number 27,
J.K.
they're
Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. I don't see that happening. So, what do you think about this one? Javonte Williams to the Cowboys. I don't hate it, man.
It's a Cowboys move. I don't know.
They need a running back.
They don't do nothing. They really don't.
I could see them trading up and
He
taking
stinks, though,
Ashton
man. Like,
JD.
I don't know.
He was
Javonte
so
Williams,
good
he's
until he
nothing
got
but
hurt.
hype,
Yeah,
nothing but unleashed potential. Like
I
every
know.
year of his career, like we're all
He
waiting for the
was
breakout Javonte Williams. I mean, when he came out of college, everyone thought he was going to
he
be
was amazing his
the
rookie
next
year,
Todd
and then he
Gurley.
got
Yeah,
hurt. That was it, man. Patriots signed Mac Hollins. I mean, that's the best they could do. I mean, that's
Patriots are in trouble, man. They're gonna give up like 18 points a game, and they're gonna score 10.
I'm not willing to say they're in trouble yet. I want to see what they do in the draft. If the Patriots go get Cooper Kupp, and then they get McMillan, then now they're in decent shape. They're not in great shape, but they're in decent shape. It's kind of a wait and see for me with them. Zach Wilson gets $6 million out of the Dolphins. I don't know what Zach Wilson's ever done to get $6 million out of anyone.
Yeah, but they're desperate for a starting
well,
caliber
they
quarterback.
they know that Tua's
Because they
going to
know
get.
he's going to play. Anybody who signs a backup quarterback for the Dolphins,
Mhm.
is going to be playing games.
Yeah, because Tua's going to get hurt. That's a guarantee. That's like the sun coming up every day. Darius Slay goes to the Steelers. Is that where he went? He's old. Malcolm Kuntz re-signing.
I was happy. A one-year deal.
About your.
Yeah, because he got
Kuntz.
injured last year, and he had a huge breakout season the year before. I mean, there was a lot of hype going in for him in Raider
Kuntz and
Nation.
Chin are good signings for you guys.
Yeah, I'm glad he stayed around, and it makes sense. I'm sure he didn't have a market for a 3-year deal just because he literally didn't play last year.
Yeah.
So he gets to stay with Patrick Graham. If he has another breakout season, he probably won't stay with the Raiders, but he'll have a great season.
He'll have a good season this year.
He didn't have an Achilles type of injury. It was like a weirder season-ending injury for him. So he should be.
It was heel,
fully
wasn't
back
it?
healthy.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
what it was.
you're right. It was something strange. Like,
yeah, it was this heel. Can you explain to me why the Houston Texans, who have given up more sacks to anyone, would let their left tackle Laremy Tunsil go in a trade?
yeah, they've been heading in the wrong direction the last couple of years.
Why would you trade Laremy Tunsil? Left tackles are like gold nuggets.
Now you need every offensive lineman if you're the Texans, pretty much.
Their whole draft
everywhere.
Their whole draft. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it, man. Like, it doesn't make. I don't know. I mean, Laremy Tunsil's no bum.
He was probably their best offensive lineman.
What are you doing? That just doesn't make any sense. Diami Brown slept on signing, goes to Jacksonville. I like that. I like that a lot, man. He's a good player. He was just never going to really see any run on the Commanders. We talked about Justin Fields. I think that's pretty much it. I think we kind of touched on everybody, everyone important.
Yeah, it was a blitz. I mean, it was a blitz for these.
Yesterday was a blitz. Poona Ford, that's a really good signing out of L.A. going to the Rams. I like Poona Ford, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm high on a couple teams. I'm high on the Jets. Didn't take a jump. Finally, I'm high on the Rams. I don't know why, man. I just feel like the Rams are going to go buck wild this year. As long as they can keep Matthew Stafford upright, I think the Rams are going to be I think they're going to win that division. The Niners are falling apart. The Niners have nobody.
Yeah, and then you have Seattle, who just is going to
Seattle's
depend on Sam Darnold.
trash. Seattle's garbage now.
And
But
then
I
you have
think
the
they want to
Cardinals
be
too.
garbage. Cardinals might take a jump, man. They could take it.
They're going to have to have a good draft. They need to have a really good draft.
Yeah, we're going to have to reconvene after our draft. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of stuff we do in between now and draft day. We'll bring you guys some updates. We'll talk about some of our, favorite prospects in each, category for sure. But the draft is like free agency this week. Cap compliance is tomorrow. This week is still going to be a blitz. Yesterday was the blitz day. There's still going to be a couple sprinklings of signings here or there, between now and Friday, you guys. But then it's like literally the draft. This is phase 3 now. It's like combine, free agent compliance, cap blitz week is where we are now, and then draft day. And that's where you're really going to see like what these teams are made of, because everyone has picks. Everyone has someone they get to choose to help build their roster. And so far right now, I think the winners so far are going to be the Commanders and the Bears. Some people think the Patriots are winners. I think it remains to be seen because they have not really yet worked on their most important need, and that's at wide receivers. So I want to see what the plan they have there, especially now that Bill is gone. Bill's not doing the drafting. You know what I mean? Bill's been the one picking all these bums who have done absolutely nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Patriots do. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I already said this in the beginning, but definitely my biggest thoughts are don't be prisoners of the moment. If your team isn't making signings, a lot of the time that's probably a good thing that you're not trying to plug in all these holes. It's almost like a sinking ship sometimes for some of these teams, and you just want to patch it up. But like in reality, you need to like put the boat in the harbor and like fix it before you like start adding pieces. Free agents, in my opinion, should really be the cherry on top. And then not the way to be like, okay, we need to completely retool our roster. Let's go grab these guys because they're expensive. That's the whole problem with free agency. It is an expensive hole for definitely not top tier talent. I mean, it's in that next echelon, those B+ players that you're getting here. The A+ players don't hit the market pretty much. You get you get the upper echelon players through trades. So don't gas up your entire franchise thinking, oh, this team won free agency, so suddenly they're going to be like the best team in football. The Patriots still aren't going to be good next year, and they are the highest spenders in free agency. So don't get too so in the weeds about like the day-to-day signings, because here's the reality of the situation. There's talented football players in the NFL. I don't know if you know this. It's like, oh, this guy's really talented. He went to this team. There's talented football players in the NFL. That's how these guys got there. They're everywhere. That's how they make it in the NFL. So just because like your team misses out on like what is considered in that free agency market to be the best cornerback doesn't mean there aren't other good cornerbacks out there. Those are the things that you can't just like, don't gas yourself up on free agency because it usually doesn't make the biggest influence on the season.
Nah, you got to build through the draft, man. I've watched my team build through the draft the last couple years, and it's been a wonderful thing to watch. You know what I mean? The free agents literally are the roof.
Who made the biggest plays in the Eagles Super Bowl for them? Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter. These are guys that they drafted. Kenyon Mitchell had a great rookie season.
Yeah, they drafted these guys, cooked them, and got them ready, and boom.
And the cherry on top was Saquon Barkley. They did not build their team through free agency. They had everything set up for themselves. They needed something to put them over the top, and then they went to go get it. That's how you should really approach free agency.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the past 5 Super Bowls. Look at all the winners.
What have the Chiefs done in their Super Bowl runs? Who have they? What are the huge names that they brought?
Mecole Hardman caught the game-winning touchdown 2 years ago. I mean, like literally. I mean, everything. George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, like these guys were all drafted. They were all drafted, and then you sprinkle in free agency. I agree with you. It's free agency. It's the cherry on top. If you're trying to build through free agency a whole team, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything's
not Madden.
That's not how it works, man. Guys got to gel. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to gel just because they've got a whole bunch of names. And this is in every sport, not just football, but I think especially in football. I mean, there's not enough training camp to make it work. I don't know. It's just something about buying the seeds, putting them in the ground, and then watching it flourish. It's just the best way, I think, to build a team, especially when you're building it from the inside out. Sprinkle in a couple free agents, and you take your shot. I love it. World of Matches, bringing the heat. That's free agency blitz from yesterday. We're going to kind of maybe take a little break, come up with a plan to what bring you guys some more good information, see what's coming next, sit back, relax, enjoy what's happening. Guys, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. World of Matchups draft show, our favorite show of the year, will be coming. When is the draft? Draft is soon, right?
Is it really? Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
It's April.
Let's see. I'll tell you right now. April 24th.
Jeez.
It's flying in, man.
Oh my God.
Could do some top 10 or top 5 running backs, quarterbacks.
We'll be doing that
stuff.
show live again. Draft day. That was probably the most fun we had last year. Was doing a draft show. It's the best. Bringing you guys the heat as always. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the show. Enjoy free agency, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Shout out Xavier Worthy. Thank you for not choking her out. And we're out. See you guys.